Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. We have an unboxing video today, and it's something brand new that I've been waiting for some time, and that the designer was kind enough to send me a copy all the way from the not-so-sunny United Kingdom. I got a package from Second Chance Games today, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't order anything from Second Chance Games, and I opened it up, and it was the long-awaited Dark Blue Deflection. This is a unofficial fan expansion for Red Storm, GMT's game Red Storm, which is a quite detailed sort of grand tactical air game in the Cold War gone hot period in the 1980s. Now, I have played Red Storm, and it's very detailed. It's very good if you are into Cold War gone hot air war, and unless you want a dogfight game, then I think it is your definitive solution for that space. So, big thick packet in a Ziploc bag. So let's see what we get. I have not looked at this at all yet. So let's open her up and find out what's here. Now, I will note that if you are a fan of Red Storm or these other operational air games from GMT, then a lot of them have airplane cards that you can buy through GameCrafter. I do recommend looking into that if you are regularly playing any of these games, including Red Storm and Downtown, and I think they have them for Bloody April as well. So we get a booklet. Okay, so the booklet is 24 pages, and says GMT Games has given the author explicit permission, so as an at-cost product. Now, as far as I'm aware, just to get this out of the way, as of this filming, officially, the only place to get this is through Second Chance Games in the UK, which will make my European viewers pretty happy, and my, US viewers maybe not so happy. Hopefully that can change at some point in the future. The print run on these was quite small. There's only, in the hundreds of copies going on here. So these are all scenarios, by the way. This is basically a scenario pack, and they're all solitaire scenarios. So let's look at the book. Now, the book, I think I can tell that it's not a GMT product, but it definitely is designed graphically to resemble a GMT product, and I think in a pretty competent way. Purple highlighting with black text is not such a great idea, but it's not so common that I think it's a huge issue here. But as you can see, we have 10 scenarios, and I think they can be put together to form a campaign, a whole solitaire campaign. So for solitaire viewers, Bob's your uncle. You got a lot of solitaire content here. Okay, and then we have designer's notes. Designer on this is Howard Rigg, by the way. And then we have a bot example to play. And there's a huge amount of cards here that we're going to go through. So I don't think there are counters. No, it doesn't look like there are counters. Okay, so there's a huge number of cards. And immediately noticeable is they are really high quality. They almost felt laminated. These are very glossy. I suspect you could write, I don't know that the designer has this in mind, but I suspect you could write on these with dry erase markers and get away with it. So just testing this hypothesis, here's some dry erase right here. We'll let that dry for a couple minutes. All right, so what we have here is NATO Solo Scenario Campaign, Showdown 3 of 3. So it looks like we have a set of cards for each of the scenarios. So here we have scenario 10, Showdown, 1, 2, 3 cards. So that's cool. Is that dry yet? That looks dry. Perfectly dry erase. Wet erase, I don't know. I don't have a wet erase marker handy. So these are called flight log sheets, and you presumably will put some markers on these to denote aircraft status and things like that. Here's NSC 8, the Night Witches, 1, 2, 3 of 3, and okay, so they're double-sided. Okay, so you got 1, 2. Okay, here's scenario 1, scenario 10, scenarios 7 and 8, scenarios looks like 5 and 6. 3 and 4, and they're all really nice. They're very thick, very glossy. Like I said, they almost felt laminated. All right, and then we have scenario setup cards. This is kind of awesome. Always like to see setup cards. So here's a setup card for scenario 10, scenario 9, 7, and 8. We've got a whole bunch of these. Let's get back to this. Boy, this is almost worth the price of the whole package, to be honest. These are scenario situation maps. And I'm going to emphasize this again. You know, you can write on these with dry erase markers to use as situation maps in that game. That is really pretty sweet. And again, there's one of these for each scenario. And I think one of these scenarios, this one, is a bit smaller. This is probably scenario 9. The whole thing takes place, you know, Central Europe over Germany in 1987. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case for this, but there's probably dates on these scenarios. 1987. Okay. So what we have now, one thing that I will point out is that my Red Storm is in a box, and I haven't tested it on Red Storm, but I have tested it against similar sized GMT boxes. And these are printed, I don't know what A size paper this is from the UK, but it's a European paper size. You're actually not going to be able to fit these in the Red Storm box by about a 1/16 of an inch. Unless you trim them. Now, there's plenty. I think the booklet will be no problem, but the cards will be an issue. Now, I think there's a 1/16 of an inch that you could shave off, or an 1/8 of an inch that you could shave off the bottom of every one of these cards, so that's not a huge problem. But if you are going to be super detail-oriented about getting all the stuff in the box, which I think for Red Storm, you know, if you have the cards from the Game Crafter, you're already having a problem with that. So... best of luck. But this is a really neat system. It is a really nice package, Red Storm, which is also content-filled. Now you can get even more content. This huge scenario pack available from Howard in the UK. Again, at this time, if you're watching this video 6 months from now, feel free to check elsewhere. But at this time, the only place you can get this is Second Chance Games in the UK. So you'll probably pay a bunch of money to get it in the US. But if you're in Europe, or certainly if you're in the UK, you should be in great shape. So check this out if you're interested in Red Storm. It's a very nice looking solo scenario pack with a full campaign. Again, self-published by the designer to go along with GMT Games' release Red Storm. If you found the video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to help support Ardwulf's Lair, I have an initiative to get a new and far better webcam. Please do help support the channel by checking out the links to the Patreon, the Ko-Fi, and the merch store in the video description. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy wargaming.